All right, first off, I want to thank you all for coming down here today to Broadway Junction, East New York. One of the important places where we were able to establish the Guardian Angels early on. It wasn't the station in the very beginning on February 13th of 1979. That was up in the Bronx. That was the Fordham Road station, and the number 4 train was nicknamed at the time the Luggage Express. And it was right near the McDonald's that I was the manager of, the night manager of, at that time when we took out the first patrols. But 2 years later, this became a very important station for us because we began to patrol the J, the L, the A train, which were very dangerous areas, as dangerous as the Bronx. And it was a lot harder for us here because we were perceived of as being from the Bronx, even though by then we had quite a few members of Brooklyn. But once you have a stereotype, once you thought of as only being from the Bronx, it made it that much more difficult. So there were many battles that we had to fight right here at Broadway Junction, East New York. And there's a transit police station right across the street, and they did not get involved. Their attitude at that time was, hey, survival of the fittest, Darwinian. So it was quite brutal, and obviously they weren't supportive of us back then, neither were the politicians, and that's all changed. So now we have groups in 13 countries and 130 cities. But we always pay respect to our roots. If not for these places where we were able to make a stand originally, there'd be no Guardian Angels. There'd be none here in New York City, there'd be none in Mexico City, there'd be none in Tokyo, there'd be none in Elkland, Pennsylvania, there'd be none with our visiting chapter here from Easton, Pennsylvania. There would be none, period, because we would not have been able to establish ourselves. And if you notice, we're here not with a birthday cake, we're not in some fancy restaurant, we're not in a catering hall, we're not in a dojo, we're out here with the people. Because if it hadn't been for the people accepting us and the people supporting us against all the vicious criticism of the police, of people who are unknowing, and didn't quite get it, they weren't able to figure out what our motives were, and they weren't willing to give us the chance to prove we weren't a gang. We were actually peacemakers and protectors, not predators. We would not have had that opportunity to become ingrained into the fabric of New York City. And because of the success here, expand everywhere else. So that's why we get together on a day like today, and we celebrate the fact that we have gone beyond just being a subway patrol. We went out, we ventured into the neighborhoods, first by being in Central Park. We've renewed that patrol ever since crime has gone off the hook there also. But we've also established Unity Guardian Angels. We were with them last night at their training center in Washington Heights. It's a great, great concept that Super Stretch, Dennis Torres created. Dennis was with us just a few months after we started in 1979. I think we were like 12 years old at the time. But he was barely of age. And he stood with us at the headquarters and he patrolled with us. And he learned everything that he had to about the Guardian Angels, even though he was one of the younger ones back then. And actually, in any kind of an organization, the younger you are, the older guys and gals generally give you a little bit more of a tougher time. But he proved himself 10 times over and developed the Junior Guardian Angel program, which is in a dozen cities now around the world. And it's all based on the success of his program in Washington Heights. So let's give a nice round of applause for the juniors. The other person I want to introduce you to, because as part of this 37th anniversary, we're revising our website, we're revising all of our social networking. It's going to have a brand new look. We're going to take advantage a lot more than we have in the past of the outreach that we have on the other functions, whether it's on Twitter, Instagram, or any of those. And I just want to introduce you to Nancy. She's an attorney. She's dealt with us on some legal issues, and she's giving her full effort in pursuit of rebranding, remarketing, and creating a better look. So let's give her a great round of applause. And some of the pictures that she'll be taking revision of the website. So that's very, very important. And then secondly, let me give special tribute to a guy. Why don't you just step? This is disrespect. This is disrespect. No, this is disrespect. All right, and then the other person who was of special significance is Arnold 13. Now, as many of you know, we had 13 members initially, the Magnificent 13. But it was those first 13 members from the McDonald's who had a very, very special role. And if not for Arnold 13 helping to organize those first patrols, there would not have been the evolvement into the Guardian Angel. So let's give Arnold 13. Also, back in those days, at our headquarters up in the Bronx, a young man came to us, he got involved, he organized one of the largest patrols that we've ever had, that ever patrolled the subways and the streets, and he ended up becoming really the manager of the headquarters operations, which was critical at that time because we didn't have the ability we have now of texts. We didn't have the ability of cell phones. We had to operate off of paid telephones, most of which didn't work because the dope fiends and the junkies would break into it and render them unusable. So if it wasn't for Keith Rocky Pratt giving so much time and energy in the beginning, and he's continued to do so out in New Haven, and he's gotten a lot of the veterans back on track, again, that is one of the keys to the success that we had early on. So let's give a great round of applause for Keith Rocky Pratt. One of those strong individuals initially had one of the best organized patrols we've ever had in the subway system and in the streets. He came out of the Bushwick section, which isn't far from here off the L train. He had a great influence on a lot of young men and a lot of young women from that area who had joined him on Laurel Street. And he's rejoined us in helping to mentor a lot of Guardian Angels in this new generation. Let's hear it for Negro. Another iconic figure in the Guardian Angels who has been with us through thick and thin over the years, the many battles that we had no acceptability. And he always exuded strength. Came out of the Lower East Side where we had to deal with the crack zombies and all the problems of the police who would actually side with them versus us. Let's give a nice round of applause for Rambo here.
Oh, Rambo!
And for all of those others who are here, especially EQ, Benjamin Garcia, who in addition to organizing the city patrol, set up four chapters in Long Island. Out in Greenport, Riverhead, Huntington Station, Hempstead, dealing with gang menace out there. Many, many gangs out there that never before existed. But he has been the glue to that. Also, Crazy J, who helps hold down the administrative headquarters. And runs our Coney Island Patrol. Casey, who's been a veteran of ours for many, many years. Both Milton and his wife, who have been with us for many, many years. In addition to their great patrol, they've been a conduit for us into the martial arts community. Zeke, who's always available to us with his truck and his skills. I hope I'm not leaving anybody out here, but those have been some of the key contributors who are here with us today. Yesterday we were up in Washington Heights again. We had a great time. We were not only focusing on the juniors, but the training from the Guardian Angels, and the patrols, and the New York Post was there with us. Probably published an article this week. It was on February 8th of 1979 that the very first article was published in the New York Post about what we were going to do on February 13th. And it started an all-out assault on us before we even got off the first patrol. I thought what we were doing was good. I was not prepared for all the negativity that followed. And so to those men and women who were with us early on and those who are following in our footsteps for 37 years, thousands, and like I said, in 13 countries and 130 cities, we're very grateful for their participation and their contributions. And now we got to make sure that we're around for the junior guardian angels generation and then for their children and children's children. Thanks for all being here today. All right. And then we're going to meet back here at 5 o'clock. So first up,